everybody, this is the one and only Heavy Metal 95 here. Once again, we got a brand new rock song history to cover for you, and this time we're going to be covering another song from Kiss, and this time it's from their 1980 album, Unmasked, which is Kiss's 8th studio album, released in 1980, and this time we're going to be talking about the songs for today's subject on rock song history. And we're going to be talking about the song, Is That You? Yep, that's right. This is the quintessential Gerard McMahon demo song, which later ended up becoming the quintessential song from Kiss as well. When the song when the idea for Kiss, when they had the idea of how they recorded for the album Unmasked, the song Is That You was originally written by another musician named Gerard McMahon, who goes by under the pen name G. Tom Mac, which this was recorded as one of the demo songs as well, because this was originally written by Gerard McMahon on his musical history. This goes back between the 70s with a keyboard player named Jimmy Obiston's Nitty Gritty Obiston solo album back in 1977. His manager was looking for a producer when they considered Vinnie Poncia, who worked on Kiss's album Dynasty, which this all has come across for the result, as Vinnie Poncia heard several demos of Gerard McMahon's demo songs, especially one of the demos that Gerard McMahon worked on, and one of them was the title song, Is That You? Vinnie Poncia liked Gerard McMahon's demo, so he basically taped it for the band Kiss for a consideration, particularly as Kiss guitarist and vocalist Paul Stanley loved the song, and he decided to use it for the first track that ended up being a quintessential Kiss song that ended up appearing on Kiss's 8th studio album, Unmasked. As for the whole consideration of how they wanted to use Gerard McMahon's demo songs, and then they want to make it as a quintessential Kiss song as well. As makes sense, though. And however, this song was released in several markets, most specifically in Holland and Australia. However, considered this never made any impact on the charts. However, it was released as a single in Australia for the sale for short weeks in October 1980, before this was deleted, making it one of the rarest singles from Kiss, alongside with Gene Simmons' single Radioactive, which is right off of the Kiss Gene Simmons solo album from 1978 in the Australian Kiss catalog, according to this as well. However, according to Gerard McMahon, he explained about the song Is That You was inspired by a Betty Page looking leather looking girl in a bar at a hotel somewhere in the Midwest. Because this has to the musical creativity of how Gerard McMahon wanted to do it as a songwriter, before having one of his songs being ended up as a quintessential Kiss song that ended up on the first track right off of Kiss's album Unmasked. There were some lyrical changes between Kiss's version and Gerard McMahon's demo version of this song, Is That You? such as the lyrics like "Act your age, get back in your cage." But they changed it to "Act your age, get off your stage." However, the third verse in the original demo version Gerard McMahon did was they changed the lyrics like, "Don't like driving to the high school just for kicks, you crazy chick. I ought to cross you out of my black book. You're out of line in your own case." However, due to the changes from those are the original lyrics that were on Gerard McMahon's demo song, "Is That You?" However, they changed it, unlike the Kiss version. There were some changes going on. The original demo by Gerard McMahon has clocked in at 4:23. However, the Kiss version ran for about 3:55, especially for the hour. And makes sense, though. People genuine to think. Consider for the whole way of how this has gotten to the whole way. Yep. Yeah, this is your typical song like this as well. For the song, sorry about the camera. Hold on. Is the camera back on? Oh yeah. So, as for the way for, I just wanted to say the whole truthful thing about this goes on about the song, like, "Is That You?" was how it began its roots as well. Of how this has examples of Kiss doing power pop in a style from bands, for like most specific bands like Cheap Trick, Foreigner, and the Raspberries at the time, with some melodic hard rock numbers giving to the whole thing. That's the most important thing. Paul Stanley has stated out for the way, according to the book Behind the Mask, the story of Kiss, Paul Stanley stated out, we were not functioning as a band. Peter didn't play on Unmasked or Dynasty, but I Unmasked. It was clear that it wasn't an ongoing workable situation. Certainly for the fans' benefit, you would often paint a picture that wasn't untrue at times and come back to haunt you. People get the idea that you're the comic version of the Beatles, where four guys living in connecting houses or sleep in the same bed and do everything together. And that was absolutely never the case. Everybody didn't go at equal share of the work, and everybody didn't have equal amounts of songs to bring to the party. Nor were the songs up to the standard. We wanted to create something for the fans that was so cheery and fit the picture they had of us, sometimes covering up people's shortcomings. By the time of Unmasked, it was clear that none of the tires were full, but one seemed real flat. And all I gotta say about how this song, like, "Is That You?" is one of the quintessential Gerard McMahon demo songs for musical history for what Gerard McMahon had. Which, this song was originally recorded back in 1979. However, this appeared on Gerard McMahon's demo compilation, The Circle of Many Years, Gene Tomac, a.k.a. Gerard McMahon, Best of 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Gerard McMahon said that he's grateful to have the song recorded by Kiss. He stated out, "The song was definitely a songwriting defining hour that I could have built a career around, but I choose not to use it for my own first album and let Kiss have it instead. I was more into going the route of edgier, eclectic, and more challenging writing for myself." That's how he stated it out. Paul Stanley started being in an interview by the Melbourne-based radio channel 3XY. He stated out, "When we heard Is That You, it sounded like a Kiss song. We gave it in a test rehearsal. It sounded like it's so natural that we decided to include it on the album. It was written by a friend in Los Angeles, Gerard McMahon, who is a sharp songwriter. He will probably release his own album within the end of the year." Vinny Poncia stated, "It's not like I said you'd have to do this song. They did it because Paul liked it. It was the type of the song Paul could have written himself. He did say nothing that he didn't think it was a good idea. Of course, he respected my opinion. He listened to me, but the decision was always completely his own." Needless to say, Kiss did perform Is That You live when Kiss performed live on the Unmasked tour when they first performed live in Sydney, Australia during the 80s. However, they did perform playback live on an Australian show, Countdown, which makes sense because I must say, for the whole thing, whenever I wanted to come by for a Kiss song like Is That You, when they performed playback on this Australian show called Playback, however, they did perform it live at the Kiss Cruise in the either the 2010s decade or the 2020s decade. And this is like one of those Kiss songs has not been performed live in concerts as they were. They did back in their Australian tour during the Unmasked tour era back in the early 80s as well. And in the end, the song Is That You has revealed to the public when it was first released on Kiss' album Unmasked. The song is good, the songwriting's excellent, the guitars are good, and the lyrics are very well written for a good songwriting. 10 out of 10 for the song. However, before I close this off, in the Gerard McMahon demo version of Is That You has the harmonica on it. However, the Kiss version has the guitar solo, for whatever I come by, to say the least, though. So that's going to be it for my rock song history for today. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, especially if you're new to the channel. Smack the like button if you enjoyed the video. Hit the notifications bell button for more surprises. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Be sure to check out my previous rock song history. Be sure to check out my rock song history and metal song history channel if you're new to the channel as well. And that's all I have, what I got for today. So this is Heavy Metal 95 signing off. Thank you for watching my video. Well, glad you liked it. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you soon for the next video. Be sure to stay safe and stay healthy. Hope you all have a great day. Take care. Goodbye for now. Rock on for this video.